welcome back to another episode of the Day After podcast. We took a little break from last week. I was feeling a little under the weather.
And I just didn't want to see Joe.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I got a message from Ryan. He was just like, "Don't come over. I don't want to see you this week."
No, I ran out of hair gel. That's why.
Yeah, exactly.
I just didn't want to be embarrassed, but I soldiered through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we're back. Do we want to do a little recap of last week, just so that
a little quick one of basically our thoughts of the elimination.
Yeah, Chelsea. Wow.
Chelsea, I'm like, as soon as I saw the preview, I'm like, one of them's going home.
Yeah.
And I was surprised because it looked like Dean, or like because of the female alliance, but you know.
But no, and this was back-to-back episodes that someone got voted out with an idol in their pockets.
And ouch, that just hurts.
Yeah.
Like it's like. And it wasn't like, you know, she had a limited time or anything on it. And it was a true blindside. Like, if I was in her position, I didn't think I would be going home at all.
Yeah, exactly. She really thought, the alliance was strong with the females.
Though, I will say, never, ever, 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 ever say a blind sign is fun at tribal council. Because odds are you will get...
You are the one.
Yes, odds are.
Yes, and also, she was going to turn on her own female alliance because she was planning to vote out Karishma.
Yeah.
Which, we gotta say, Karishma, something's going on where she's just not going home.
I just don't know why.
Yeah.
And, so, to continue with this episode, you know, Dean was, like, freaking out in the beginning. And, you know, like, I would be too if, like, you know, totally against the plan.
Yeah. And, he talked to Missy about it, and it seemed like, I was surprised that Missy was, like, kind of pissed off that that he was upset. Like, it makes sense that people are upset when they're the only one that comes back who aren't aware of the plan. It makes sense.
Yeah, but it was, like... I don't know. I think Missy was just like, cool it, man.
Yeah,
just
well, I also think... Because remember last week, Missy was like, this is like Russian roulette. I think that was not the right analogy for that tribal at all. Because if it was Russian roulette, I think there would have been a few scattered votes.
Like, I would say, seldom do we see like more than 4 people get votes. If that happens, then I feel it's more Russian roulette. That's
Russian roulette, yeah.
But, you know, if it's like 2 or 3, that's standard.
Yeah, because that's basic planning. People are aware of what's happening.
Or not aware, as Chelsea was.
As Chelsea and Dean were. So let's get into it then. So we have the swap.
The drop your buffs, which I called it, or like I felt it was gonna happen.
You thought it was gonna happen way earlier,
but it usually happens at either 2 or 4.
Yeah, it happened at 5 this time.
Yeah, and so I was interested in the mix, even 4-4 split, and then the 5-3 split.
5-3, yeah. You knew that the Leyro was going to be at a disadvantage in at least one of the tribes.
Oh yeah,
like that's just how the numbers work.
Exactly. But like about the compositions of both teams, I feel Vokai got a lot of the good players. Missy, Aaron. I also was starting to be surprised of how, like, let's talk about Aaron for a second. His socks.
Oh my gosh, I think that was genius.
That was like, all right, you became someone where I didn't really care too much about, and then like I'm like, okay, so
I think that we're going to start seeing a lot of people start wearing clothes of their family.
Yeah.
I could honestly see that.
I mean, Survivor loves people with a good family story.
Yeah, exactly. That made me really root for him this episode.
Oh yeah.
And him and Tommy have that nice little relationship going on.
Yeah, that was I feel that was all right, because as I said, I feel Tommy is a sleeper threat.
Yeah.
And like they were saying, they're both big guys, and so like, you know, they're gonna need each other's help in the end.
See, you keep saying he's a sleeper threat. I really think he is a dominant threat, and he is going to control it in a very Boston Rob-esque where like almost everyone thinks he's the power player, but they're afraid of targeting him because he's such a power player.
I don't know. There's so many different like big personalities out there still.
Yeah.
Where it's like, all right, we might be focusing on someone else. Especially since let's talk about the meta of Survivor right now. I feel that right now it's not about keeping the team strong anymore.
No, not at all.
This is not the Survivor back then. It's not about, like making it to the merge. It's making sure certain people don't get to the merge.
Yes. Yeah, you want to make sure that anyone who first of all has a chance of winning with either a great story or they're very likable or anything, they're really good at competitions. They are nowhere to be seen at that point because if they get too far, they can win. So you want to make sure all those people are out. And which for television kind of sucks sometimes.
Yeah,
because you get some of those great characters out in pre-merge.
And it's like, I don't know who to root for anymore.
Yeah, and then that's what happened, I think, in my opinion, which Edge of Extinction was everyone went out except for Rick Devens, and good thing he went a while, but, it kind of was just like, well, there goes everyone who's fun.
Yeah, and like all the returning players, too, for that one.
Yeah,
like,
they all went out in succession, basically.
Which was also interesting about that season because that's the only season where a returning player, where it was, with a bunch of newbies, where a returning player did not make it to the finale.
Yes, exactly. Which, good for them. They finally wised up, I guess.
Yeah.
And there was, I think, a lot of Survivor players, or a lot of Survivor fans who were in that season, and they knew, like, you don't let a returning player get to the end.
Because, for the most part, they usually win.
Yeah, except for Coach, but I think he should have won that season.
Okay, yeah.
He
played a solid game.
Yeah, if I was voting, I wouldn't have voted for Sophie. No. That she was the sleeper threat of the season.
A little bit.
But I think Coach had more of the control. Like, if he win it, but of course also if Ozzy made it then, he was definitely winning.
Oh yeah.
He was one challenge away from winning.
I know, but alas.
Yeah.
But one thing, why is Elaine always so nervous?
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, I think it's a confidence thing. She doesn't know how great she is yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel as we go further and further along, she'll come into her own. Yeah. That's one thing I noticed. Like, she was like, oh no, I'm nervous. Yeah.
She was nervous for the swap, but she was feeling confident that she was on the 4-4 tribe instead of the 5-3 tribe.
As we'll see later, because that was like a.
I think that was foreshadowing that she also might be the next one to go if Volkai ends up going to tribal.
Which I now don't think that's possible.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that tribe is way too strong.
Laro, it's either A, they're cursed, or B, it's just the fact that they keep Karishma around. Yeah. I feel like
she was literally dragged by Nora in the challenge. Nora literally had to squirm her way with Karishma as deadweight.
That was hilarious. Just because Nora being the big personality she is, and then Karishma being kind of like
complete polar opposites. I thought it was so funny to see the two of them being the ones tied together.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Also, I want to say I've never seen a group of people so excited to go to Applebee's.
Bro, I was like, all right, that advertisement was like perfect because now I want Applebee's. I've never been to Applebee's.
It is not great. It is good. It's okay. But it does not deserve that reaction ever, even on Survivor. Survivor, I would have been like, oh, cool, I get some food.
Well, I mean, I always find these reward challenges interesting, especially since I've been in college and then out of college, because I'm like, why do Survivor contestants eat better than I do?
Yeah. And I thought it was so funny that Karishma said Applebee's was her favorite restaurant. If you don't know, Applebee's microwaves a lot of their food. That has been something that came out, that they often microwave their foods. So
I mean, if people like it, then they're doing something. But
I think Chili's is probably the better.
Chili's, I've had Chili's. Chili's is good.
Yeah, if you want to go to that kind of restaurant, go for Chili's. Yeah. But it was just so funny. In fact, I had the biggest laugh actually when the the puzzle was going on, and there was this shot of Karishma with just the sand all over her face.
Oh, yeah.
I laughed so hard, and I don't think that was intentional. I couldn't help but laugh.
It was low-key funny. Like, that challenge. Well, Karishma, she was hilariously bad in that challenge. Like, you know, like, just fumbling. Well, then again, that challenge was goofy. Mm-hmm. It was like, you know, like, pretty much worm your way out. It's naturally funny.
Yeah, and I'm cutting a little bit to the immunity challenge also, but Jeff was like, Karishma's going really slow or whatever, and Karishma was just like, no, I'm not, Jeff. It was like, yes, you are. He's just pointing out a fact.
It's because the narrative of Karishma is that she is so terrible.
Yeah.
Which, when they finally, you know, when they got back to camp, I was like, all right, Karishma, she's going to seem very, very loyal, but as they were saying, the new members of Laro, Karishma is like a huge liability, and not, you know, like upturning, because like the thing that Karishma has going for her is her loyalty, but other than that, she's useless.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think she is going to turn. I think she's totally gone with Lyro.
And I feel
Lyro. Whatever.
I'm interested to see, because if this new meta where all the threats go away, she might actually make it far in this game.
There's been a lot of talk on whether her or Nora is going to be the person at the final 3 with no votes.
I feel...
I think Nora is the better choice to drag into that situation, because Karishma along the way will be more unpredictable.
I feel, well,
because at least Karishma is aware that she's on the bottom. I think Nora doesn't realize. I think she's very oblivious to the situation, and she's like, as long as I'm with the majority, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Whereas Karishma, if she realizes she's on the bottom, she's like, no.
Yeah, I feel, since they're now in the same tribe, it could be interesting seeing, like, if these two might actually work together. Mm-hmm. Especially since, you know, like, Nora's overconfident and Karishma is hella unconfident.
Yeah, exactly. I am a little upset that Jason and Nora, we don't get that amazing chemistry anymore.
I'm pretty sure they'll both make it back to the merge. I mean, because if Laro keeps losing, which pretty apparent.
Yeah.
If they keep keeping Karishma.
Yeah, and I don't see any of the original Volkai members going out. Actually, I think it's just going to be a huge Laro just getting decimated, which sucks, because I like a lot of the people on that tribe.
I mean, Elaine is on there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously that's like my favorite from the original Laro.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, rest in peace, Chelsea, because I thought she was going to do well.
Yeah. And then I think Dean's making the merge, but I think he's going to be like the second or third.
Yeah, he's definitely. Usually the muscle dudes, they go out usually.
But at the same time, though, if Laro goes back to tribal, it's either him or Karishma.
It could be an interesting strategy if that team keeps going to try. Let's say they want to go Volkai strong to the end, which I think is a bad idea, but let me digress.
Yeah.
So, you know, it could be beneficial for, you know, the old Volkai members to keep losing on the Laro tribe and vote off the, you know, the other two, so they, you know, don't have the numbers when they get into the merge. But the one downside to that is 9 people, a 9-person alliance. That's a very, very fragile. Yeah,
there's a lot that has to go into that.
Yeah.
And at least the first few votes of those final 9 will be so chaotic that, like, you kind of don't want to be... you want to get rid of the chaos when you play Survivor.
There has been scenarios, like if we look at Samoa, when Russell Hans, you know, like, him and his team, it was down to 3 people going into the merge. 3 or 4. And they made it all the way, or like Russell and 2 other people from, you know, his tribe made it all the way to the end. So it is possible.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it's, you know, it would be dangerous to implement the strategy I said.
But I don't think anyone on Laro is a Russell Hans type.
No, but I do feel like there is potential wiggle room, especially if they're like, oh, Karishma's not a threat. Yeah. Karishma's not a threat.
Oh, at the most, they might have like a Dr. Mike type that like kind of slithers through a few votes here and there, while like the power players of Volkai kind of duke it out for a few votes to get rid of any of the other power players, and then like they realize, okay, well now we just gotta get rid of you.
Yeah, this is a tricky game because like you want to get rid of the power players as soon as possible, but at the same time
you want to make it further in the game.
You also need like a strong alliance, which is tough.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, we also do know that if Aaron and Tommy are working together, that right there could.
He has like a way in where. But I don't know. Is it in Tommy's best interest to, let's say, if Vokai goes to tribal next thing, and for some holy reason Karishma doesn't screw it up again. Sorry if you ever watch this. It's just like. It's like they are not painting you in the best light.
Yeah, it's honestly like I was so for Karishma.
No, I know too. I know, dude, you were.
And now I can't stand her. Like honestly, she is my least favorite player in this season. And it sucks because like you got Tommy as your first pick.
Yeah.
And I got Karishma.
Watch, Karishma somehow win this. Despite all the,
she's winning the Sia money.
The Sia money.
She's going to get the Sia money.
That would be interesting. I don't know. Sia,
because she's had a journey. She's had a journey.
Well, I mean, Sia usually. Well, speaking of which, with her. Because they took time out of this episode to talk about, like the arranged marriage and stuff like that.
I kind of feel bad for the husband when he watches this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this is a part of culture where we're not really as, we'll never really understand firsthand what that's like and, like, the psychology of going through a marriage when you don't really know the person. As opposed to, like, the rest of the world where how... I know some people that have been together 5-6 years and haven't married.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very different world, but it was interesting to kind of see that unfold on Survivor.
Yeah.
Because she was very emotional about it, and she was open and vulnerable, and that was a nice side to see. I don't like that in my Survivor.
I guess, like...
I like the strategy, and sometimes when you get all the mushy stuff, it's just...
yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting if Karishma makes it to the family day.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to see who comes out. Is it gonna be
interesting?
Is it gonna be the husband? That would be very interesting.
Yeah.
Or her parents, one of her parents.
That'd be, like, I guess that's one of the great things about like that reward. It's like you see who that person is really close to, and you get like a little more in depth in their life.
Yeah. I think it would be funny if her husband comes out and she's like, "Oh, yay!"
That'd be interesting.
Hey, so when we get back, I have some papers I want to have you look over. That would be interesting.
It could. We don't know. I feel like she's definitely gonna get a spot in the reunion. Like an interview question.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. Yeah, it's this was another interesting episode, just all around. I don't think we've talked too much about Tom so far.
Tom, oh yeah. Well, we're getting to the point where we talk about the part where, Lara loses again. Yeah,
Lara loses another challenge.
And then it's pretty obvious that, like the Vokai are not, going to turn on each other.
Yeah,
they're like
why would they?
Exactly. And usually, I don't know, sometimes people do.
Yeah.
But, like, they did the, smart play.
The only person that I could see wanting to flip was Nora, but she was so Volkai strong that, like, I think she's just oblivious, and I think that was, like, not even a question in her mind, that she was going to stay strong.
Yeah. I just feel like, out of the three options, I thought Karishma, because, like, it's like, Janet even said, I was like, you have to keep winning in order to make it to the merge.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, there's only so many people, or so many times you can go to tribal council. The more, statistically speaking, the more times you are at tribal council, the more likely you are to get voted out.
Yeah.
Like, even if you have a strong alliance.
Unless you're Denise Stapley.
Tomfoolery happens.
Yeah.
And then you get voted out.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about Tom, Dean, and Karishma, because there's a good reason why Tom was the one to go here.
I feel like he was the middle,
choice.
I feel like, I wouldn't say the best of both worlds.
Uh-huh.
I would say, like, I would say he was like the option C where everyone could probably reach like a gameplay thing, like, all right, we vote him out. I mean, we still have Karishma, but we still keep a strong player of Dean, and we still have the loyalty potentially of Karishma.
Yeah, because I think out of everyone on Lero, I mean, Aaron, I guess, is also flipping, but Karishma is one of those people who is very much like, I want to get out of.
Well, I mean, Dean, I feel as well, because he got blindsided, but Karishma is louder about it.
I feel like Lero is kind of gone. I think this was definitely the episode that solidified that tribe is gone, the original Lero, and now...
The interesting thing is, is it a Karishma thing, or is it like a Lero curse thing?
I think it's a Karishma thing.
Also, another thing, you know, Survivor has gone to, like, you know, like, merge at 13 pretty much since Second Chance.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if, like, you know, they're going to keep that, like, little tradition, or are they going to play it out like in Cook Islands, like dwindling it down?
I feel like it's going to be like, I think the merge is happening at 12.
12?
That's my guess. I could see, what is that, 2 more votes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
No, wait, that would be 3.
3?
Because we're at 15 now.
You're right, yeah. So 3 more votes.
We'll see.
Yeah. Because I could also see 2 more votes and then a final swap, and then having 1 vote at that swap.
That could be interesting.
Yeah, because I do like that. I like when they did that Second Chance. It makes it way more interesting because it's just like anything could happen.
Oh yeah. So about Tribal, the first time we see Boston Rob and Sandra in this episode, it was nice because I was like, when they did the, you know, like, drop your buff, I'm like, oh, I guess they're not in this episode, but then I forgot.
They have to show up somehow.
Sandra is just so over Lero. She's like, these idiots are here again.
Yep. I'm glad though that they didn't do either of the idols and the reward challenge. That would have been way too much. There would have been no tribe camp stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we wouldn't have gotten Elaine and Missy wrestling.
That was fun.
I liked in the preview because they made it seem like it was a big altercation.
Oh yeah.
But like when I was watching, I was like, "There's no way that they're fighting for real."
Yeah, because usually, because it's on the rules, if you get into a physical altercation, you know, you guys are out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
that's why at most they can just like yell at each other.
Exactly.
And if it looks like anything's going down, they stop it immediately.
Pretty much.
Like with Brandon Hand, for instance.
Oh yeah. Oh man, that was such a fan for his favorites too. Like,
yeah.
Man, that was like, because you know he did good his first game, but. Well, I mean, he did the dumb thing of, like, giving someone a necklace. There's only been, like, 1 person that ever got away with that, but that was way early in Survivor where people don't play as hard. Yeah. But,
those people were kind of just like, oh, we're just going to keep with the plan that we already had, so...
Yeah.
We're not going to suddenly switch at Tribal.
This was, but at Tribal, I was surprised. We've mentioned that I always, write down notes and stuff because I don't want to forget. Well, for a second I forgot that Nora also, you know, forgot that she didn't have a vote for this one, but I didn't think it would make, honestly, that much of a difference. Yeah. Like
it would have been funny if she was on the 4-4 tribe.
Oh yeah, that would have been so screwed.
That would have been so funny. But the funny thing is, like, they wouldn't notice, and so the older Lero would have still flipped.
So nothing. It
really
still
probably wouldn't have.
Yeah. So it was like you know.
She was in a great position that she doesn't matter.
Yeah, but that aside, so when I saw that Tom was going home, I drew this.
Yeah.
You see, that's me surprised that Karishma is still around. There's my profanity censored, and then me screaming out Tom.
Yeah.
I was upset because I was like, how is Karishma still alive in this game?
It's amazing. She seems like someone who should not be in this game anymore.
No, but I think it circles back to the meta where it's like get rid of threats.
Exactly. Because you can get rid of her anytime, but like that's also how Sandra won. So.
Yeah. I feel.
But I don't think she's a Sandra.
Not at all, because Sandra has confidence in herself.
Yeah, she doesn't. She's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's always been at the bottom. Sandra is not always at the bottom.
I mean, she was in Pearl Island. She was on the opposite.
But she was also, for a lot of the pre-merge, she was on the top. It was like one vote in the pre-merge, I think she was at the bottom, and then there was a couple votes in the post-merge, and then she was back on top.
Yeah.
Like, she kept finding a way to get back there. Karishma's not.
Well, that's...
she's on top in the sense of she's right in the votes, but she's always... like being targeted.
And that just goes to show who's how you can tell who's a great player from a crappy player.
Yeah.
It's like, do they know their stuff?
Yeah,
and I feel Karishma, I feel anyone can make a turnaround. She might find something within herself where like she'll maybe Vokai brings her in, and then that's when she's like, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But when all Lero is gone, where does that leave her?
Yeah, it's I like if Lero goes back, it's either Dean or Karishma, and I'd rather see Karishma go.
I feel I don't know. I feel like it would be amazing. What if she's picked for Island of the Idols and she wins the idol
and
then because there's no way she would not play it. She is not.
Yeah, if she because she knows she's always being targeted.
Yeah, there's no way she would not play the idol the first chance she
and then
gets.
she talks to Dean, and the two of them target someone. Like, what if they get Janet out? How crazy would that be?
That I would scream.
You would lose it.
Janet can't get it.
She's not making it to Final 3.
Janet? I feel...
She's not.
I feel she could, though. I feel... She's not as big of a threat as the other people. She is great, but she isn't necessarily in a leadership role. She, is good at challenges, and, she's very likable.
Yeah. Well, my final 3 right now that I think is going to happen is Tommy, Nora, and Aaron. And I think Aaron might get 1 or 2 votes from the old Lero, maybe. And then everything else is going to Tommy.
I feel, I can see Nora making it that far in the sense of kind of like Philip, where it's like someone that just kind of screams crazy crap and then makes it pretty far as a result.
Yeah. I think Aaron is going to be so loyal that he will not turn on Tommy.
No. Maybe. We'll see. Because he pretty much was abandoning his tribe so easily. And thing about floppers.
Well, he also got burned on the first vote. In fact,
true.
Yeah, and because of that, I think he immediately had hate. If Tommy has the first few votes, and he has Aaron in and is good, I think Aaron will be very loyal.
Potentially, yeah. We'll see. But, all right, so best player and the crappiest player.
Crappiest Karishma.
I feel not, because for some miraculous reason she freaking survived.
Yeah, but it can't be about just who goes home. It's gotta...
I know, but it's
she was so bad in the challenges, and she loved Applebee's. She should get it for just saying that that's her favorite restaurant.
Look, Karishma is right now the number 1 choice for crappiest player.
I think she's going to get it almost every time until she gets out, unless she has a great episode.
And then best player, I might say, just because he did help out in the challenge and almost made the comeback, I'm going to say Dean.
You're going to say Dean.
Mostly because, A, he found mutual ground with trying to remember her name, the one that went to Island of Idols, Kelly. They found like a mutual friend somewhere in the world, which
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's happened before, but it's still like wow.
Yeah.
And then also he almost made a comeback in the challenge, and I feel like with those things, because I don't feel there was too much like gameplay in this episode.
Yeah. So Ryan, you're almost on the marker, but you're wrong again. Tommy is my player of the game of this episode, because he formed a relation. He like the fact that there was a 4-4 tie, and he immediately managed to break that up was great, and he won the challenge. He beat a Division I basketball player.
Fair enough. Like for me, it's like I guess more like kind of like with last season of like not necessarily judging on who had the bigger advantage, but the hand they were dealt. I feel that Dean overcame more, whereas a lot of things for Tommy kind of just fell into place.
I don't know. I think that he made it happen. I don't think it just happened.
I mean,
I don't think it just he stumbled upon it.
He didn't necessarily stumble upon it. I just feel like like if he and Karishma were on the same team, he would have to like compensate for that. I just feel like
I just think that
coming
Dean,
to the 4-4 and then making that the 4-4. Granted, it's not the best situation for Vokai, but I still feel like anyone that's not on Karishma's team is in a good position.
So when I look into this, I often look into how it's going to affect next episode, the next votes. And right now, Dean is still in a tough position where he could still get voted out.
Fair enough.
Tommy is not.
I don't know. Like when you're on the bottom, though, you have some wiggle room.
You have wiggle room on the bottom.
Yes, you do.
I
mean,
think
after the vote, because things are always changing in this game.
I think you have wiggle room if you're on the bottom of the majority alliance.
Fair enough.
But if you're on the bottom and that Vokai is very strong, I think he has very little wiggle room, and he's just going to try to throw Karishma under the bus.
It's all about analyzing who is on the bottom of that alliance. So Nora could potentially be someone.
I think she is.
Who else is on that? I mean, both Jack and Jamal are on that side, and the one tribal council they went to, their closest member went home.
But they're also connected because they were on that bottom. And then Nora, I think, is just so... I think she's so oblivious of the game. She also is not really a fan of the game.
Fair enough.
So I think she's just going to be happy that she's on that majority team and she doesn't want to switch.
You make a good point.
Yeah.
I'm still going to say Dean because, the fact that he survived and pretty much everything I said, where he almost brought it back. If, Karishma was more competent in the challenge, he could have potentially won, but,
Yeah. Though I do have to say, though, Dean was going into the basketball portion behind.
Yeah.
There was that, I have to say. And he was very close to making that last basket to get them to win.
Yeah.
Like, even though they are the weaker tribe, they were very close to winning.
Yeah.
They had that one extra shot.
Yeah.
Which they failed, but...
yeah. And next episode, it just... the preview was basically like, alright, if either one goes to the tribal, who's going to get voted out next? What's going to happen? Are they going to draw rocks? So nothing.
Yeah,
like
they're not drawing rocks. Aaron and Missy were very clear, like they're not. They will flip on their tribe before they draw rocks.
Yeah, that's because it's not always the best strategy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, Tyson did it, and it worked out to his benefit, but it's still like. It's always a risky thing.
Who's the other original Lero? It's Aaron, Missy, Elaine, and who?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, that's right. I forget about Elizabeth sometimes. She is also in maybe a bit of a dangerous position.
Maybe I feel like
if that tribe goes.
If they want to swap, I feel like if they lose, it's either going to be
Elaine or Elizabeth.
And we don't want Elaine to go.
No, so. But
especially since if we're talking about the meta, of who's the physical threat.
Yeah, but strategically, I could see Elaine going home.
Strategically, yes, but I feel like...
Because they were talking about it.
They were, but I feel like the threat is like, alright, all the challenge threats first, and then we worry about the people with stories. Mm-hmm. Because, as they said, we can get rid of those people at any time.
Yeah. Because she's an Olympic swimmer. If they do any swimming immunity challenges, like, she's going to have this huge lead. She has a huge lead. Like, she'd have to do really bad at the, like, puzzle or the other, like, skill-based portion of the challenge for her to lose. Yeah, we'll see. It's a great season in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, I don't know if you watch any other podcasts, but Johnny Fairplay hates this season.
Really?
Like, he really doesn't. Like, he thought the third episode, the Vince episode where he got voted out, was predictable.
Maybe.
I did not think it was predictable.
No, I don't feel...
Going into it, I 100% did not believe Vince was going home.
I felt Vince made a lot of, development as a player in that episode. But, why Johnny Fairplay? First, you volunteer to get off of, fans versus favorite, which, if you ever watch this, I was legit upset. Yeah. I took a break from that season. Yeah, I watched the first episode and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch, I'm gonna watch season 17 now. And
that was a bad season. I hated Gabon.
Gabon. Yeah, I mean, it had some good. I liked Bill, Discount Bill Nye.
Bob Crowley.
Yeah, I liked him.
I thought that I'm a big fan of the gameplay. There was so little gameplay, like good gameplay, in that season, and the characters weren't very good. It was just kind of dry.
It's not the stronger ones, but I guess they're him, Sugar, and Randy were I remember watching.
I hated Sugar too. I think that's it. I think a lot of people liked Sugar, and I couldn't get behind her. She was so She was one of the worst players in Survivor history.
Well, I mean, she also got voted out first in Heroes vs.
Yeah, and I cheered. I literally applauded.
I remember because I was watching Gabon for the first time in college with a couple of my roommates, mm-hmm. and they were watching it with me, and he was cheering when Randy got home because of the big smug look on his face with the fake eye. He was like, and it was wiped away.
Yeah, no, I liked Randy. He was the only character that I thought, and the thing is, I didn't think he was a great character. I thought he was okay.
He was entertaining.
I think in most other seasons, he would have been an okay character that I would have enjoyed if he made it a little further. But I wouldn't have said wow, that's an iconic character. No, there was no iconic characters in there.
I still like Bob.
But he was so boring.
I liked him though.
He didn't know how to. He had no strategy.
I don't think he would have.
The worst final three. You have to at least give me that. The worst final three.
That's a discussion for another day because I have to look back. But
it is at least in my worst 3 seasons of Survivor in history.
I don't know.
I think Nicaragua was better.
Nicaragua?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Anyway. Okay. Well, we're getting off topic. That was okay. Well, I think we've covered most of everything from episode 5. Catch us next week. We're going to go over episode 6 and have another blind side most likely.
And Karishma surviving yet again.
Somehow surviving.
Karishma.
She's probably making the merge. She's probably.
Karishma, 2020.
For president. Okay.
All right.
Okay, bye.
Y'all have a good week.